Welcome back to Etheria Restart. Today I'm here taking a look at the Shadowflame Hoyan boss and a team that you guys can utilize to take down this boss. Now, there is an animus that you're going to want to have that you may not have on your roster. So I'm going to be giving you guys an option, an alternative to still be successful. Now, transparently, I'm working with Hermes right now and trying to have a 100% Inferno team, but we are not quite there. So we're able to do Hell no problem, but Inferno we are not yet at 100%. We're going to be talking you through that here today and showing you the team that we're using. Before I get any further though, I need to thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring today's video and urge all of you to download the game with my QR code or link in the description. Gets you 10 free summons. Hermes, we've just been working on this boss this morning, talking a lot about it, and I figured it would be really great to share with everyone here that may be in a similar position. So I guess first things first, what is the light dark SSR that you really want to smash this boss that most players probably just don't have?
Oh, the big one that the big light dark unit you're really going to want is Shadow Sonia. Now there is an animus that really makes this just basically this boss a cakewalk. And that's based on the mechanics. I'll show you first the mechanics, and then we'll kind of go into that animus. So the mechanic of this boss is it has two side adds. All three of them do a lot of damage, but those two side adds will counter attack every single time. Well, not every single time. Have a chance to counterattack every single time either they or the main boss are attacked. And so that over time really builds up as they're just getting in a bunch of free extra attacks. Now there is an animus in the game that is able to, it's an SSR that is able to shut down the passive. So if we go over to the archive, what it'll do is we'll be able to show off that passive ability that is able to shut down. And of course, the name is going to blank on me till we get over here,
That's
but
okay.
it is Celince. So if you go down, of course, it's one of the ones that we don't have, but Celince right there is able to, with her passive ability, I'm pretty sure it's not her passive, is able to shut down the passives of the enemy animus or whatever else and make them unusable. And again, it's not on this passive, but what I'm hoping will happen for you at least, because you have so many summons with this upcoming weekend that we have going on, that you are able to go in. Oh, and it's a forgetfulness. So just all throughout her kit, I guess. But that you're going to be able to pull her in when we have this weekend event of the summoning, where it's just we can do a lot of standard banner summons.
All right.
If
No.
you don't have her, there's a lot of teams you can use, but she's just basically the easiest way to get through and beat this boss.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that we're able to tell people who you want. Like, this is ideal, but I don't even have her on my account. So there's always options and ways that you can build out a team if you don't have that the actual one that you want. Now, hopefully we pull her in over this weekend, as you mentioned, but if we don't get lucky either way, let's go into the team that we're going to be utilizing for the boss right now, who we kind of put together so that we can actually get this boss taken down. Let's go through these animus one by one, and let's start with, who do you want to start with?
I mean, I guess Shadow Sonya is probably a good one.
Yep.
So the big focus of this team is really going to be a dot team. So it's that damage over time really gives your team a lot of power because it's very quick to stack up these damage over times. So the big thing with Shadow Sonya is that you're going to want to make sure that you have, if you're using her, that you have her A1 maxed out, because it provides you a much higher chance of getting an additional stack of 2-turn dot whenever she deals damage. And so that means that on all of her skills, she has an additional chance to put an extra dot stack every single time she attacks. And this is the only one you really need to invest in. I think, again, if you're looking to do long-term dot farming teams, as you get more advanced, as you are basically using dot all over the game as much as you can, really, you're going to want to upgrade her other skills as well to make her even more powerful. But to make sure that she uses the abilities that we need her to use in this battle, her shell is actually super important in this one, and that is a Codex of Magic. You haven't been able to farm a whole lot of that final shell boss that really gets you a
Yeah.
good Codex of Magic. So you've just got one that has some Swift Rush on it, some speed as a shell stat. But your Codex of Magic is going to be really valuable because it basically makes it so that whatever skill you're currently using doesn't require doesn't take any of your cooldowns and increase any of the cooldowns. I think you actually did a little bit of a video on this as well, like farming and what you were doing on that, and
Yes.
that was actually to help improve and build up this team to try to work towards getting that Inferno clear.
Yep. No, exactly. And we did put out that video. By the way, after we go through all of these, I want to do a hard run, which we can 100% clear. But then I want to I want to try in this video an Inferno run and see if we can get a clear on full auto. So we're going to put ourselves to the test. We could fail on that, Hermes, but I want to put it to the test anyways in the video.
But I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Is you got
Yeah,
to figure it out. Everyone's got to figure out for themselves. You can
exactly.
watch all the videos and you can look at all the other people's advice, but at the end of the day, you got to figure out what you can do with your animus and your gear on your own account.
100% agree. All right, so the next animus that we're talking about here is Obel. Tell us why Obel is important. Obviously, you mentioned everyone has DOT. We see it right over here in his S3.
Yeah. So actually, Obel is honestly one of the best. If you don't have, especially if you don't have Celince, is one of the best animus in the game for this boss. And the reason why is on this ability, it has the chance to both put a damage over time and to put out a stun on the same ability. So what you do, and based on your gear right now, your Fangus and your Obel actually are, funny enough, at the same speed. So it
Mm-hmm.
makes your Inferno runs a little bit more tricky. So we've got to adjust the speeds on those. But what's really cool about him is that he goes in, he'll stun and put out the DOT on the side ads, making it so they can't take an action, so they can't counterattack. So then you can just stack up all of your dot damage on the main boss without having to worry about the side ads.
Yep, makes a lot of sense. Do you want to take a look at the shell here as well, or no?
Oh yeah, we can look at the shell. The shell on him is again another Codex of Magic, and the reason why is again you want to make sure that A3 doesn't actually have its cooldown increased because you want to be able to use it twice. So you use it the first time at the beginning of the battle. You make sure that the side ads are both stunned, and then when he gets back around to his turn, the side ads are not stunned, but because of his turn order, he's able to then go through and stun them again. And that is very important again for this fight, is making sure that he can go through and stun both of those side ads, as well as putting out more dot damage.
No, I love it. All right, so our third animus that we're using here is Fangus, and again, more dot on this one as well. And this is part of the reason why I want to show the Inferno battle, because you see the amount of dot damage that the boss takes. Even if we fail, you'll see the massive chunks of damage that it takes. But take us through Fangus and what's so important here.
Yeah, Fangus is really good. So he actually has on his passive ability has a chance to 50% chance to assist an ally every time they attack. And why that's so valuable is that on his A1, which I don't think you've maxed out, you've got to wait for this
No,
weekend for that
3.
Blessings Galore event. He has a opportunity to put out dot damage again on a one stack, one turn dot. So every single time that your allies attack, he has a 50% chance to join that attack and put out an extra dot stack. So with a run like yours on Inferno, that's why this team can have a little bit of variance, is because he won't always get all those ally attacks you need, and you might not be able to get enough in, and that's where you're trying to figure out the sustainability of the team to make it so even if you have really bad RNG, you're still able to get a full clear on this run.
Yep. All right, and the shell that we're running here is just Gigabyte. Why Gigabyte?
So the reason why I put that one in is I wanted to make sure he was fast, and so I was telling you about this earlier, just making sure that you've got a fast shell, and so it's a shell that works, it's a shell that's fast, and just make sure that you got one on there that does well.
Yep, makes sense. And then we have our final animus that we were just messing around with and added in, Kachi the Guard.
So Catcher the Guard is interesting. So this fourth slot on this team is a flexible spot. This is really your sustainability of the team. One thinking for Kachi is that increased defense on a low cooldown, as well as obviously then that immunity, which isn't as important in this boss, but really making sure that you have that increased defense, try to make sure some sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real reason that he's in this team. The other options you can put in instead of Kachi, the one that we had tried before is Valerian. And another one that I think would be interesting to try is someone like a Hell Kid, because of the massive shields that he can put out on his A3 ability. And so I think it's just going to be, again, doing some testing, figuring out what sustainability we can have coming through as far as characters go, to figure out which animus is really going to fit into that sustainability and support role to make sure that you survive long enough to finish off the boss.
Makes a lot of sense, man. All right, let's take these into battle and see how they actually perform. All right, so here we go into Shadowflame. We're gonna do it first on Hell, which we can easily do that 100%. We're gonna just go on a regular challenge right here, and I want to target the boss right as we start. So when I hit start, I'm going to target the boss right off the bat, and now we're good to go. 3 times speeding through this, you guys can get a look of what it looks like at 100% clear. And then we're going to try and challenge ourselves with the Inferno and see how it does. Anything you want to say while we're going through this battle, feel free, Hermes.
I think honestly the biggest thing is just looking at the fact that both of those side adds are stunned, then they get stunned immediately again, so that you're not actually getting anything done, and you just see the mass amount of dot stacks that are happening on that main boss. But now that the stuns are coming off, the side adds are starting to counterattack, as you can see, but it doesn't even matter because she blows it all up.
She blows it all up for sure. All right, so Hell, that's fine, but let's try it on Inferno. Now, we have seen success on Inferno, but it's not 100%. So why exactly is it not 100%? We talked about it, and we talked about it being to do with accuracy, right?
So there's 2 things. Number 1, I don't know if your accuracy is high enough. Again, like the chances and the accuracy is a little bit. I'm just trying to figure out what a good range is to have that accuracy at. But then the other thing is also sustainability. So and that's the biggest thing is that RNG is kind of that you take out some of the RNG of battles whenever you can improve your sustainability. So really that's where that Kachi the Guard flex slot really comes in, is you want to try to find an animus that you're able to put in there that can keep your team alive throughout the duration of the battle.
All right, well, let's give this a test. I'm going to hit battle. I'm going to target the main boss really quickly. Again, when you're in continuous battle, you could have this set up auto. Let's see if we can get this done right here, right off the bat. Here we go. Crossing my fingers here.
I know, we'll see. The big thing is getting those dot stacks on.
I just want people to see the big amount of damage that the boss takes when the boss attacks. It's crazy because of that dot.
Yeah. And so again, something else that you really need to focus on, I think, for you is going to be getting your Shadow Sonia a little bit faster. So you see she takes a turn after the boss that first time around, but now you're really starting to get those dots stacked up and just huge damage coming through.
Yeah, it is. But this one looks like it's going to be another fail to me. I don't think this one's going to go through. But we'll see what goes on. We're taking quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah, again, it's the big thing is those counterattacks that the side adds have is really can be such a difficult thing to deal with. It can be a very hard.
You see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted everyone to see. Although we did lose, you got to see that dot damage that was dropped in there and what it actually looks like. Hermes, I appreciate you coming through to break this one down. We are going to have this team crushing Inferno before you know it, and we'll come back with another video showing what that team looks like. And as Hermes said, it's all about testing it out with your own account, with the own modules that you have in your Animus, and seeing what you could put together. But that's a team that we think could work really well here, especially if you don't have that one light dark that we mentioned earlier in the video. Again, we need to thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video, and if you guys haven't played the game, use the QR code or the link in the description. Thanks for coming through, Hermes. Hope you guys all have a great day.